Well, it's the outcome we were all hoping and praying for. After an extensive 3-day search, Casey is found. He's alive, and he is currently getting the medical attention that he needs. Well, News Channel 12's Merrilee Moore is there right now, live outside of Carolina East Medical Center in New Bern, where the 3-year-old is with his family. And Merrilee's joining us now, actually, with Sheriff Hughes.
Yes, that's right, Lauren. I'm standing here with the sheriff. And Sheriff, you guys have had a very long night, very incredible outcome. Talk to me about how you were able to find Casey.
Wow, just doing our due diligence on all the calls we were getting in regards to, we heard this in the woods. There might be a sighting, and like I said in all my press briefings, no call was insignificant. So we diligently went after every call. This one came in, it was of a child. They thought they heard a child crying in the woods, and we got many of those. We sent deputies and rescue right over there. He was about 40 to 50 yards in the woods, tangled up in some briars. Still had his coat on, a little lethargic, but was warm. They brought him out, rushed him here to the hospital. But just staying focused really was the biggest thing, and we were determined we were not going to leave until we brought Casey back to his family.
And that's exactly what you've been able to do. I know your team must feel so incredible about that. And when you were able to track down Casey, has he been able to verbalize anything about how he was able to stay alive and keep himself taken care of for this long?
He was, of course, he wanted water and his mom. And he didn't really get into, how he was able to survive and all that. He did say that he had a friend in the woods that was a bear that was with him for 2 years. But just the look on his face when his little sister came in the room was it was tear-jerking. There were a lot of emotions. A lot of prayers were answered. I can't thank the people of Craven County enough for answering the call and coming out to help us. And it truly shows, we've had a really tough past 12 months, Craven County has, and we always come together. And I just can't say how thankful I am for the folks that supported my office, and all my men and women were out there around the clock. So we're so excited for the family and for that community, and prayers were answered.
Prayers were certainly answered, and I know so many people are now waiting anxiously to find out how he's doing. We're so happy to know that he's in the hospital right behind us. Do you know when we'll be able to get an update on his condition?
Last night I got one around midnight. He was in a room resting with his family in a secure location. Was still talkative, and I heard that he might be released today. I don't know. We hope so. He was just really dehydrated, and other than that, all the feedback I was getting and reports I was getting totally this morning were really good. So I'm excited about that.
And for you and your team, what's next? Are there still any loose ends you're trying to follow? Anything that you're trying to cross all the T's, dot all the I's?
Well, we had a debriefing last night, and we'll come together, all the personnel from my office and other agencies, the FBI, the SBI, State Highway Patrol, Wildlife, Marine Fisheries. And I don't want to try, I know I will miss some, but we'll debrief. How could we have done things better? What other resources do we need in the future if this were to occur? But overall, I was extremely pleased. And once again, it could not have been done without the help of the people in this county. They are rock stars.
And I really want to go back. It's really touching to hear you talk about when Casey is reunited with his family, with his sister, with his mother. Can you just describe for us what you were able to witness for this family?
One, what we heard was he was calling for his mom in the woods. So when his mom and dad got there, his face lit up. He was asking for water, but then he immediately started asking for his little sister, And when she came in there, just the smile on this little trooper's face, from being in the woods almost 3 days, keep in mind the weather we had, it was almost where we had to suspend all flights of our aircraft that were coming in drones. So what he survived out there, temperatures in the 20s, low 20s, the rain, the downpour, that, almost put our search on a standstill there for a little while. Just, man, it was just this kid was, he's strong. He was meant to survive. He's a survivor, and he's got a story to tell.
And speaking of that story, I mean, you're describing all of these things he had to go through. Describe again, I know we've mentioned cuts, bruises, you know, he must have been in a little bit of a shaken condition when you guys found him.
He was, like I said, he was very cold and extremely wet. Still had his shoes on, his coat, but just soaked. And to get to him, our rescuers went through almost waist-high water. So, you know, we were extremely concerned with the torrential downpours that there were places in there where water would get high. And remember, he's only about 25, 26, 27 inches. I mean, he's not really, he's a short fella, and about 25 pounds. So we were concerned about that, truly concerned, but the weather and of course the wildlife that's in the area and all that. So we're excited this morning and last night.
And lastly, is there anything you want to leave for all of the people who came out to help, all of the volunteers? What's your message to them?
They're the heroes, you know, that they answered the call. And, you know, when we put it out, folks showed up immediately. So within 45 minutes of us getting on scene and starting to establish a command post and getting specifics, we had people from the community starting to show up, and then it just grew. And when I put out the call to other sheriffs and other sheriffs that reached out to me and our local police departments that were there immediately with their canines, I can't thank them enough, you know, and the Lord for bringing this boy home to us.
Thanking the Lord, thanking the volunteers. Again, this is Live with Sheriff Chip Hughes, and we'll toss it back to you, Lauren, in the studio for now, reporting live in New Bern. Merrilee Moore for News Channel 12.
Yeah, such a rewarding outcome for all of the volunteers, all of the search crews that did what they could to come together to find little Casey Hathaway.